Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Monday, December 15th, and yes, once again, smacked in the face with the Monday news items. Lots of violence over the weekend. It is the craziest thing. Um, you know, as you all know, welcome to the show, by the way. Thank you to Annie for producing the Shannon Joy Show today. We're broadcasting live on Rumble. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, every podcast platform you can ever imagine. It is so great to be with all of you. I see you all in the live chat. Hello, General Patton, Guitar Lily, Zayada is with us. Opossum King, it looks great, or you look great on the live chat as well. There is so much happening in the world today. Relentless headlines. As I mentioned, I hope you all had a wonderful, amazing weekend. I did. My eldest son, Jack, came home from college. We get him for a full 4 weeks, a month, and I am just the happiest mom in the world to have the entire family home and in my house and safe. I had an amazing anniversary weekend with devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy. You guys probably saw on Twitter and Facebook, I posted out happy anniversary to Devastatingly Handsome, 23 years strong. And I appreciate all of you and all the well wishes. Yes, there we are. December 14th is our anniversary, and it was a beautiful Christmas wedding. We had an amazing time. And oh, yep, there Annie has the B-roll ready to go. That was the wedding. Can you believe how different the camera work was? Like, it looks so old-fashioned to me looking back on this. Like, all the video work they do now for weddings is amazing. That's my girl, Christy Lundgren. Oh, I love it. And there we are, toasting each other. That's what really matters, right? And oh, I love this part. So that we're cutting the cake, and I'm thinking, he's not going to smash cake all over my face. Of course not. He would never do that. And look how nice he was. Like the best husband. Oh, it's so sweet. It's so great. Oh, there we go. Nope. I couldn't have expected him to let me get away with not having to redo my makeup. There's my dad. Hey, Dad, love you. It was great, and these are the things that matter. I am so blessed to have just an amazing family, mom and dad, and the most supportive husband. So we had a great time. We had a date night, and just got to remember, I mean, these are the things that matter, right? And every weekend, I turn off the social media. I turn off the news. I spend time with my family. I know we are all trying to do that because the news cycle is so relentless. It moves at a breakneck pace. Both political parties, both political factions lying to us and also working together. It is a grotesque uniparty. Corruption, as far as I can see, within our government, the federal government, government institutions, the bureaucracies and their partners in global corporate America. It's just too much. And so I love the weekends. I mean, blissfully unaware of what is going on. And then of course, you wake up this morning and you're like punched in the face with the headlines. There's a lot of violence over the weekend, and it's concerning. People are on edge. There is a sense of unease. It seems to be relentless. Like there's a lot. We have obviously the violence from Brown University to Bondi Beach, Australia. It's ramping up. And of course, there are calls for more surveillance, more government control. It's accelerating the need for new technologies and AI to monitor Americans to keep us safe, right? And, these stories are tragic, But we must resist fear and refuse to allow politicians and people in positions of power to capitalize on these events to consolidate their power even further. And it seems like everything is going back to the massive surveillance grid, the digital gulag, the surveillance network, the building of the data centers, the using of AI, drone technology, corporations like Palantir contracting with the federal government to track and trace 24/7, full scale control. And they will use every story, whether real or fabricated. And it's hard to know what is real these days. I mean, there's so much out there that it's very hard to even drum up the fear or the outrage because it's just one terrible story after another. And as you all know, it's becoming more and more impossible to believe anything that comes out of the mouths of government officials, our president of the United States, leaders of both political parties. They just lie to us relentlessly about everything. I mean, just think back into recent history. We still don't have the truth about the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's an absurdity, the story that they serve up to us on a silver platter and the soap opera that surrounds it. We now have Erica Kirk going on CBS with Barry Weiss and pushing out the rhetoric, which is really hard to believe, very hard to believe. We have the drama with Candace Owens. That's driving headlines today. Erica Kirk and Candace Owens are going to sit down for a private one-on-one. And, I don't know if it's a cat fight or a kumbaya, who knows? But this has been relentlessly driving the news cycle. And so many Americans are just like, this doesn't seem real. I mean, that's my first takeaway with so many of these incidents and then the subsequent headlines afterwards. I don't know what to believe. And I do this professionally. I have been a commentator, a political analyst for 12 years. I've seen everything. I've been through multiple news cycles. As you know, on the Shannon Joy Show, we cover education, health policy, foreign affairs, economics, all of the things we cover on the Shannon Joy Show. And it's never been this difficult to know what is real and what is fake and what is performative. And it seems like so many of them are so performative to the point where it's obvious, right? But they're engaging in this circus sideshow and the soap opera with straight faces. And everything has an agenda. Everything has an agenda. There's a lot of really important stuff happening right now in the world, particularly with your economy, with your family, our freedom, our liberty, our Fourth Amendment right to privacy, our free market system, and what they're doing to the dollar. Over the weekend, one of the Russian diplomats close to Vladimir Putin basically said, we know what you're up to in the United States of America. You're going to use Bitcoin and Tether and stable coins to reset the debt in the dollar and erase your $35 trillion worth of debt. We're on to you in Russia. And we've aligned with China and Brazil and South Africa and India in the BRICS alliance, right? Like the world understands that we are full scale, recklessly, without abandon, devaluing the US dollar, just printing. We know now, big announcement, they're going to ramp up the printing machines again in a variety of different ways. There is no appetite within our government to cut spending in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. So we're just going to dive head first into quantitative easing or money printing, adding the zeros. Who knows? They don't even really have to do anything. They just create the money out of thin air and hand it to their cronies. But, no one's buying this anymore. It's so obvious to people. But this is going to impact your family. It's going to impact whether or not you're able to pay your bills, pay your mortgage, especially if there is a crisis. This is why gold and silver are surging again. Huge rally today. We're going to have Jack Gamble on tomorrow. On Thursday, we have Peter Schiff joining us in the Joy Virtual Studio. Two very important interviews with two gentlemen who have been very consistent on their analysis about where we're going. The people in the know that the globe, the world, everyone's moving in to physical assets. Gold, silver, land, water, you name it. People are moving out of AI and tech stocks. Everyone understands that these tech stocks are a bubble, right? But maybe that's why they're driving this crazy cycle of violence. As I mentioned, from Brown University shooting, we have this is in Providence, Rhode Island, and a gunman at Brown opened fire on campus, killed two students, injured nine others. That's the story, right? That's the story. The attack prompted a massive manhunt involving hundreds of law enforcement officers and lockdown situations. There was a person of interest, but of course, there's always a person of interest. It never seems they actually get the real guy. Always seems like they find a patsy and an absurd story that no one can possibly believe. I mean, remember Mandalay Bay? Did we ever even figure out what's going on with Mandalay Bay? The Kirk assassination, even Trump's own assassination. We don't have any information. You would think that Trump himself would really care about who it was and the entity or the organization behind the person who tried to take him out in the summer of 2024, but they don't even care. No one cares about the truth about anything. I mean, the official story from the US government, President Trump and the FBI on the Epstein files and Jeffrey Epstein, that official story is that it's a Democrat Party hoax, which is just insane. It's just insane. And so as this news cycle ramps up and accelerates, we all need to understand that the purpose of this, or the using of these violent occasions, is often to consolidate power, to tear apart our Constitution, to destroy our Bill of Rights, our God-given natural rights here in the US, as laid out by the Constitution. And it's always bigger government, more surveillance, more police, weaponized news cycles, militarized police forces. And they're going to use that excuse. We have to stand up, resist fear, and refuse to allow them to put in any of these types of policies, because we're losing our freedoms very, very quickly in this country. And they are taking apart our opportunity to pursue happiness in a free market system with all of the economic manipulations and the like. So the good news is I did link into my show notes today. Amidst all the chaos, we did witness, this is extraordinary, last week in Bulgaria, after weeks of massive, relentless protests. They say in total, 7 million people turned out. Bulgaria's government resigned. The full government resigned on December 11th, 2025, amidst outrage over corruption and economic policies. Now, this was reported by Reuters and the AP, but there's very little out there. It wasn't until this morning, unbelievable footage being pushed out on social media. I retweeted it on Twitter. I mean, just massive, massive protests, peaceful protests. But the people of Bulgaria have now said to their government, we have no confidence in you. And they understand how corrupt this government is, and they are withholding their consent. And they've gone through rounds of protests, but every time someone comes in, they throw them out again. Now, we have similar issues here in the US, and this is proof, in my estimation, that bottom-up localized organization and mass noncompliance works. And it is precisely what our governments fear the most. So more of this from Bulgaria, more of this from the Netherlands. We need more of this in the United States of America. We need to understand that it's a bipartisan assault on the fabric of our country, our Constitution, and they are only ramping this up as we move into the holiday season. We don't even get to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. I mean, we don't even get a holiday, right? With, every season, it seems, they begin to ramp this up. And everything is just very strange. We're going to go into tomorrow I'm not going to do this today because we have a great new guest that I'm really interested in talking to. Because honestly, today I want to talk about things that matter to you, not the soap opera, not the infighting within the conservative party, not the crazy things that they're doing from a federal level. By the way, we are going to get into with Brett Miller a little later today, Donald Trump's outrageous executive order granting complete amnesty to big tech companies and AI development, the big data centers they want to plop right in your backyard in suburbs across the United States of America. There's been pushback in every corner. Americans don't want those data centers in their backyards. And now they are extending amnesty to these tech companies and to AI to build out that infrastructure. It's outrageous. And we're going to talk about that with Brett Miller a little bit later in the program. But also a very disturbing story. Francis Boyle, it was an amazing medical freedom warrior. He was an American human rights lawyer, professor of international law, the University of Illinois College of Law, and a very critical truth teller during the dark days of 2020 and the lockdowns. And he died mysteriously last week. He was set to testify in the Netherlands, along with people like Sasha Latypova, who wrote an email to myself and a few others explaining what she thinks about the death of Francis Boyle in the relation to the Dutch case. This is an extraordinary case that we've been covering. Crimes against humanity committed by governments and massive global corporations against humanity during the dark days of COVID-19 and the lockdowns. And they're moving forward with this case. It's an incredibly important case. Francis Boyle was set to testify, and Sasha Latypova is now saying this death is suspicious. So we're going to cover this tomorrow and get into this a little bit more. I was just talking to her today. Very, very concerning. She also pushed out on Twitter, there are many others who are set to testify, including Sasha Latypova, Dr. Joe Sansone from down in Florida, and Catherine Austin Fitts. According to Sasha, they are not afraid. They are ready to testify. They're ready to go to the Netherlands. So we might have to bring her on again this week to talk about this as well. So we're going to keep an eye on this story. But today we have two great guests coming up. I'm really, really excited to interview this next guest. It's about America and America first, or at least that's what we thought, right? From the Republicans and from this administration. John Shivley is the chairman and CEO of the Pebble Mine, and he's going to talk with us about what is happening. Unbelievably, the Trump administration, the EPA, is blocking one of the largest undeveloped copper mines in the world, the Pebble deposit in Alaska. Now, this project could employ thousands of Americans. It can help the U.S. economy, the America First economy. But amazingly, Trump's EPA might find itself in a position to defend the Obama administration, an old decision by the Obama administration that the Biden-Harris administration held up unless it reverses that veto. So it's another situation of Trump inexplicably in his administration continuing to further positions that were held by the Obama administration and the Biden administration. This is not America First. And it's just another example in a long line of non-America First policies that we're seeing coming out of this presidency in the first 12 months. It's not okay. So we're going to talk with John Shivley in a moment. He's going to join us for the very first time on the Shannon Joy Show, which I'm really excited about. And then after that, we're going to welcome Brett Miller into the Joy Virtual Studio to not only talk about the outrageous executive order granting amnesty and providing protection to massive tech companies. But also, we're going to be giving away a bunch of satellite phone store gear. We have Faraday gear and all sorts of treats for you guys. So we're going to be doing that in the second hour of the Shannon Joy Show. So keep it tuned right here. When we come back, we're going to welcome John Shivley on the Shannon Joy Show. Cannot wait to hear about what's going on up in Alaska with this Pebble mine controversy. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Shannon Joy Show. And Mary and I came together trying to figure out, how we're going to do this show. They were there for us with sponsorship that helped us to put this together and get it on the air. So we are super, super thankful for them. And they have a great new product. I don't know if you guys have ever been struggling, or if you are struggling with mood swings, low energy, or hormonal imbalances. Venus and Mars are two great new products from the wellness company. They're doctor formulated nutraceuticals designed to restore balance, energy, and vitality without synthetic hormones or stimulants. Ladies, Venus supports estrogen and progesterone balance. It eases PMS and cramping while also boosting your energy with clinically dosed ingredients like DIM, maca, Vitex, and broccoli sprouts. There is no fluff and no filler in this product. Now, for the fellas, Mars has a product that naturally increases your testosterone, enhances circulation, and improves strength and focus with tongatali, tribulus, horny goat weed, and zinc. And every ingredient is present in a meaningful and safe dose. There are no gimmicks, just clean daily hormone support for both men and women. And I hear it also helps a little bit in the bedroom as well, but we won't go there. If you are a couple looking for a boost, Venus and Mars will have you feeling like you are on another planet. Head to twc.health.com/Mary and use the promo code MARY to get 10% off plus free shipping. That's twc.health/Mary and use the promo code MARY, MARY, to get 10% off plus free shipping. Just want to tell you a little bit about my financial advisor. He's been with me for over 15 years, Don Polano of PCM and Associates. As you all know, my philosophy on investing is all of the above. So I'm hugely bullish on gold and silver, physical gold and silver, and also the gold and silver IRA. I also love real estate, which I can't get into right now because it's too overpriced. So that's kind of a bummer. But I also have money in the stock market, the good old traditional stock market. Now, right now, I am not in tech stocks at all whatsoever. I have very, very boring stocks and some international. And this is what I love about Don Polano is that he knows, he respects my belief system. He shares my belief system. And for what I do have in the stock market, in those investments for my retirement, he takes great care of me. He helps people all over the country and the world. And he is taking on clients, opening it up to all of you. So if you go to 1-800, if you call 1-800-536-1368, that is 1-800-536-1368. You can talk to Dom and get started. If you are unsure of the politics of your financial advisor, or if you're a little jittery about the stock market right now and you want to move some things around, he is your guy. You can also go to pcmpolano.com to learn more about him. That is pcmpolano.com. It is wonderful to have a financial analyst and advisor who shares my values, and that's Don Polano. You might want to consider checking out Rocket Dollar. Go to www.rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy, and you can get an IRA information packet. You can start investing as soon as your account is funded. And with the self-directed IRA, you can invest in a variety of alternative assets outside of what many believe is a corrupt and bloated, inflated stock market dominated predominantly by the tech companies. So you can invest in real estate in your own backyard, right? In your own community. You can invest in private equity or a startup, even precious metals, gold and silver. They have the self-directed gold and silver backed IRAs, which is real gold and silver that is funded through your IRA. These are all ways for you to use your IRA accounts to your benefit and stop partnering with the federal government. So go to rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy. That is rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Stay tuned. In just about 25 minutes, we're going to welcome Brett Miller, he is the CEO of Galileo and an expert on surveillance, technology, protecting your identity, protecting your privacy. And we're going to be talking about the Trump EO protecting massive global corporations, granting them amnesty via executive order, which is, I don't know, outside the Constitution of the United States of America. So we're going to talk about that with him as well. And we're going to be giving away a ton of satellite phone store gear in that second half hour and all of this week. So we're just going to ask you guys to send an email. We're going to enter you in, and there's a lot of great gear that he's going to bring. So that's going to be super, super fun. Also, yes, I see you guys on the live chat. We will discuss the Rob Reiner murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. Absolutely horrifying, horrifying. Saw that cross the news ticker today as well, and I mean, just absolutely horrifying. Already being politicized. Already being politicized. Disgusting tweet from Donald Trump on this. I just can't fathom. This is what makes you like what this is what makes you not question everything, right? There's just so much there. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But first, I do want to bring in new guests, and this is a really, really interesting story. This was brought to my attention by a good friend of the Shannon Joy Show, John Lieberman. I've been on his show a couple times. He's nonpartisan, not left, not right, not Republican, not Democrat, just kind of the news every day. And he said, Shannon, I have this unbelievable story for you. It's going on up in Alaska. It's not getting enough play. People don't know what is happening with the Pebble mine. And as we talked about it, it really dawned on me that we need to be focusing on our American companies from the bottom up. This is happening in Alaska, and we're going to bring in a primary here. John Shivley is the chairman and CEO of Pebble Limited Partnership, and at the heart of this Pebble mine controversy. You guys have been trying to get this mine up and running for many, many years. You were faced with all sorts of roadblocks from the Obama administration, continued through the Biden administration. Now we have a situation. Minerals are so critically important in a myriad of ways in the U.S. today. This is a very pro-American project that you guys are working on. And once again, you're getting blocked inexplicably by Trump's EPA, and they're continuing those regulations. So that's kind of the overview. But John, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Really glad to have you here, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you and following this story. How are you?
I'm great, Shannon. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, maybe you can just give us the backstory on this great American company looking to serve America in a host of ways, national security, conducting very important mining operations up in Alaska. But how did this get started? And, let's talk about where we are today, because I think this is something that people can get behind and begin to learn about. And if we did this in communities across America, like support our companies, get them up and running, get rid of the bureaucratic red tape, and just let Americans do what Americans do, then we wouldn't be facing a lot of the problems that we're facing today within this economy. But can you just fill us in on your background and the basics of this story? And then I have a couple other questions for you as we move forward in the interview.
Sure. Well, I've been involved with Pebble since 2008. The prospect was actually found in about 1988. There was a preliminary exploration work done by a company called Cominco. Ultimately, a Canadian company called Northern Dynasty took over the project in the early 2000s and substantially upped the reserve. So this is the largest undeveloped copper project in the world. Our total amount of potential resource that we see it right now is over 10 billion tons of ore. We could produce over the life of a mine that could last 70 to 100 years.
Wow.
80 billion pounds of copper, 100 million ounces of gold, a bunch of other things, including rhenium, which is very important to the defense industry.
Right.
It's not a well-known mineral, but we have it in a reasonable. In fact, I think we're by far the largest um, uranium potential resource in the country. So,
Wow.
um, but it's always been very controversial because we're in the Bristol Bay region. Bristol Bay region is the largest commercial sockeye uh, resource in the country. Uh, so, we've taken a lot of time. We've spent over $1 billion so far,
Woo.
well over $200 million of it just on environmental studies.
Right.
And, we ended up in uh, the first Trump administration with an environmental impact statement that said that we can do this project without harming the fish.
Yep.
But we've always had substantial opposition, particularly from the environmental community. Um, and, we're actually a fundraiser for the environmental community. Uh,
Sure.
and so if we went away, I don't know what would happen with that part of their funding, but that's not my problem. Uh, but to me, one of the big problems with the environmental community is they're not held to the standard of telling the truth.
Mm,
So, for instance, they say we will destroy the whole fishery. Not that we might, not that we could, but that we will. Well, it's just not even possible. There are 8 watersheds in the Bristol Bay region. We're only in a couple of them. So
right.
it's just nonsense. But, to me, one of the things about this opposition, it led to, first of all, the Obama administration trying to shut us down before we had even entered permitting. And
Mm,
then we went through permitting in the first Trump administration. They denied our permit. We appealed that decision, won the appeal, but in front of the Corps of Engineers, who's the permitting agency. But the Corps never actually dealt with that appeal. And then under the Biden administration, they came in, finalized the veto to stop us. I mean, it's sort of unheard of to stop a project that's still in the permitting. Well, it
right.
is unheard of. And, to me, um, when I was growing up in the 60s, 50s and 60s, something like Pebble would have been, people would have gone nuts
Hmm.
about how great it is for the country.
Hmm.
And now we look around the country and we're not the only mine that has faced this kind of opposition.
Right.
And, in the meantime, our close personal friends in China have been busy getting ready to take over, mineral processing, which they
Yeah.
mostly have done. I
Right.
mean, there's, they just cut another deal in, I think Africa, oh no, in Chile, where they're getting all the copper from a copper project, all the
Jeez.
copper concentrate, and then
Right.
the copper. So it's a national security issue because the way the Chinese deal, first of all, they have the long view. They don't change, every 2 years in a house and every, potentially every 4 years for the president. They have consistent management and they can make decisions. If they want to build a mine, they build a mine. If they want to build a smelter, they build a smelter. If they need more energy, they'll do a coal plant, they'll do solar, they'll do a gas plant. Uh, in our country, to get any of those going takes years, and in some cases like ours, decades.
Mm.
And it certainly puts the country, I think, at real risk.
Right. You know what frustrates me, John? We're talking to John Shivley. He's leading up a battle to get a very necessary mining project started, one of the biggest in the world, and most important at Pebble Mine in Alaska. And it's interesting. I mean, mining is one of like the oldest, most important types of industry that we have needed as humans. I mean, for hundreds of years. Mining it is something that is absolutely necessary. And at the same time that this government, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, Barack or Trump, with their EPA, I mean, they're paving the way. They are removing all liability or they're granting complete liability protection to AI companies, big tech companies. They're proposing putting Manhattan-sized data centers in suburbs across the United States of America, in people's backyards. They're Operation Warp Speeding those projects to benefit the AI companies, the big tech companies who also enjoy huge subsidies from the federal government, plus liability protections, plus massive government contracts, like all of the things. And they get the red carpet rolled out when most Americans are opposed to a lot of those expansions, and we don't even know what they're going to do. I mean, this is something that is such a complete unknown. And at the same time that they are doing favors for these groups, they are putting up every roadblock for one of the oldest industries in the world, one of the most important industries in the world, which is mining. And so, what do you make of that? It's very frustrating because, I think it's dangerous, and it's putting our country in a weaker position. And it frustrates me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we got spoiled, you know. I mean, we used to be a huge mining, and then it sort of went away as international competition was able to provide cheaper materials. And then as our permitting system and litigation system basically brought things to a halt.
Right.
And so, uh, and also the country went through a time when they just forgot about minerals,
Yeah.
because they were always there.
Hmm.
And they forgot that you can't really build anything, whether
Yeah.
you like EVs, whether you like, regular cars, whether you like um, uh, data centers.
Right.
You got to have minerals.
Yeah.
I There's a better recognition now about that, um, I think, but we still haven't resolved the issue of how we get there.
Mm,
There's been a couple of two or three very important Supreme Court decisions over the past couple of years that I think has sort of helped straighten out the permitting system a little bit, but there's still a long way to go, and particularly in how you manage the litigation. But for us, even if and we are working with the administration to get the EPA veto withdrawn.
mm,
They haven't said they wouldn't do it.
right.
Um, we would have liked to have done it faster, of course, but that's slow. But even if we get our permits, immediately we'll be sued.
Mm,
That's a 3 to 5 year process.
yeah.
So the country is really hurting itself,
Yeah.
and it's somewhat terrifying.
Yeah. What is the balance, John? Because I understand, from my vantage point, as we're looking at the expansion of AI, big tech, the big data centers, and all of these things, and it's horrifying to me, right? It's horrifying that we could be looking at, Manhattan-sized data centers. I mean, the tax on power, electricity, and we've had this tug of war over the past couple hundred years of, corporations going into communities and polluting or damaging the environment. Like, I think everybody wants to protect the environment, but we also want development. But it's like we're now at this weird spot where it just doesn't even make any sense that they would deny your expansion and your operation, but then on the other hand, just like roll out the red carpet and erase all kinds of regulations. No state regulations, no local regulations. It's like everything is erased for the big tech companies. I mean, you've been in this business for a while. Where is the balance there? Like, how do we get to a place where we can develop, we can get the minerals that we need, we can power our economy, but we also respect communities and people's homes and their property rights and the environment? Where is that balance in your mind?
Well, for some things, particularly like data centers, which I'm not an expert on, but I know, you can't read the news and not
You
know
might
about
want to
them.
be.
For data centers, they have options of where to put them,
Yeah.
you know. And the other thing for data, and this is not what I intended to talk about, but I will a
Yeah.
little bit anyway. I mean, the big problem with data centers is they need so much energy. And so
Hmm.
and they're already doing some of this, they're going to have to put up their own energy systems. Otherwise, You move into near a city where they have access to power, and all you do is basically up the rates for people that live there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, so, so for some things, it's location,
Yeah.
and then looking at the implications for the local economy. In the case of minerals, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, they are where they are.
Right.
Uh, would I wish that Pebble was not in a sensitive fishing area? Yeah, I would, but it's a 21st century. This country does better environmental controls than again virtually any country in the world.
Yeah.
We have an environmental impact statement, which is, totally independently done that says we can do this project. We will not harm the fishery. We will be an economic driver, not only for that area, which is very poor. There are no jobs. The
Right.
fishing industry is very interesting. The sockeye fishery lasts for about 6 weeks in the summer. It's not a year
Wild.
round.
Wild.
And most of the employees are in the processing plants are brought from overseas on work visas.
Jeez.
So whereas our jobs will be year round, they'll be over $100,000 a year. I was involved in another mine north of the Arctic Circle, the Red Dog mine, and it's always been well over 50% of the employees up there were Alaska Natives, indigenous
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was an area where there weren't jobs.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming in to tell us about this story, and I'll be keeping an eye on the story as well as we move forward. And please, keep in touch because there needs to be a balance here. And an industry as old as mining and as vital and important as mining, with a company that is American owned, a company that has done the
Well,
environmental protection. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, we're not exactly, we're actually owned by a Canadian company.
Oh,
I
okay.
just want
Sorry.
to
Well,
clarify. We're the
we-
company I work for is American, but
right.
ownership was in Canada.
That's okay. I mean, but American jobs then, right? And
Yeah.
American jobs in the state of Alaska. But again, like, you're not asking for liability protection, liability shields, subsidies. Like you just want to get this thing done. And I think it's important. So where can people go to learn more about this, John? Again, we're talking to John Shivley. He is the CEO of Pebble Mine. And you can learn more about this. Where should people go to learn more,
Just,
John?
Google or use AI, or then you go
Okay.
to, Pebble Mine, Alaska, and you'll go to our
Okay.
webpage.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you. Anything else you want to fill us in on this? Or
No, I mean, we're hopeful. I mean, the other thing we didn't talk about, we are litigating against the government, and
okay.
that litigation against EPA, you know, might be ready for a judicial decision sometime in April. So we're still trying to work with the administration, and but
Okay.
if that doesn't work, but anyway, I really appreciate being on. It is a great project. I mean, it's unbelievable what it could do to that for that region and for
Yeah.
the people that live there.
Well, and there are good projects. Not every project is bad. When we want to innovate, we want to develop, we want a robust economy. It just seems like we can't have nice things in this country right now because everything is so political and everything is just so messed up. So we're going to keep an eye on your story, John. Appreciate you so much.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
of course.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too, you too. And we'll find a link for you guys so that you can get all the information you need on Pebble Mine. It is a shame. It is a shame what our government and our governments and these factions of interest groups are doing to this country, and it just needs to stop. So we're going to be back in a moment. The great Brett Miller is warming up in the bullpen. He is ready to go. The CEO of Galileo and also a spokesperson for our friends over at the Satellite Phone Store, amazing sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. Sat123.com/joy is where you can go to get all of your Christmas gear for Christmas giving. And we're in a really giving mood today. Actually, I'm not. Brett is. We're going to be giving away a ton of gear from the Satellite Phone Store right now. We're going to fill you in on how you can sign up and you can enter to win. I mean, just a bunch of stuff. So we're also going to talk about the news of the day with Brett Miller. He is an expert in telecommunications. He's an expert in surveillance and the surveillance technology and the digital ID and the grid and all the things. Also an expert in privacy as Donald Trump is rolling out the red carpet for massive global tech corporations to dump massive data centers in your backyard, it is more important than ever that people understand what that means, the creation of that digital control grid, what that means for you, how it can impact you and your family, how you can protect yourself, and how also we can resist fear, because it's Christmas time, so they're ramping up all the violence and all of the fear campaign, fear tactics, you name it. It's all coming out, and that makes us vulnerable. We have to resist it. So when we come back, we will be joined by the great Brett Miller right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Thank you to Satellite Phone Store, sat123.com/joy, sat123.com/joy. Without their amazing sponsorship, we couldn't bring the show to you every day. And it's always 10% off for every Joy viewer and listener with the promo code JOY. Why do we love them? Well, among other things, the satellite phones, the generators, the solar panels, everything you need for when the lights go out. They also have the most extensive line, one of the best quality lines of Faraday technology, beanies, bags, blankets, apparel. This is a way for you to reduce your body's exposure to EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. And as we know, talking to Dr. Williams, that exposure can impact your heart health. And so a regular usage of that type of technology, super helpful. Again, so thankful to the Satellite Phone Store, among our other sponsors. Might want to consider checking out Rocket Dollar. Go to www.rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy, and you can get an IRA information packet. You can start investing as soon as your account is funded. And with the self-directed IRA, you can invest in a variety of alternative assets outside of what many believe is a corrupt and bloated, inflated stock market dominated predominantly by the tech companies. So you can invest in real estate in your own backyard, right? In your own community. You can invest in private equity or a startup, even precious metals, gold and silver. They have the self-directed gold and silver backed IRAs, which is real gold and silver that is funded through your IRA. These are all ways for you to use your IRA accounts to your benefit and stop partnering with the federal government. So go to rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy. That is rocketdollar.com/Shannon. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show as we launch yet another very, 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 very busy broadcast week. So much happening in the world today. They are ramping up the fear porn for sure. We had a weekend of violence, as you saw in the intro today, from Brown University to Bondi Beach, Australia. The violence is ramping up, and of course, calls for more surveillance, more government control are accelerating. And Brett Miller, a regular on the Shannon Joy Show, an expert in surveillance, expert in technology. He is the CEO of Galileo. We're going to talk about the control grid. And I mean, I don't know, are these psyops? I don't know. Are these false flags? It's very hard to know what to believe these days. Brett, we're going to be giving away a ton of gear, by the way, all week long. I'm going to be driving you guys to this website, satnews123.com. That's satnews123.com, where you guys are going to sign up. It's the Galileo page. They're going to ask you for your email address. And when you put that email address in, you're going to be entered to win. We've got a ton of stuff, Brett, that we're going to be giving away that we're going to start today, and then I'll continue throughout the week. So keep it tuned for here. I mean, thousands of dollars, I think. I mean, there's a lot of gear there that we're going to be giving away, and that's for all of you guys. But Brett, how are you doing? Like, I woke up this morning and got punched in the face by the news cycle. Okay. Like all of the violence, the shootings, the things, and immediately, okay, we need more surveillance. We need more. Yeah. You had the backpack, right?
Bulletproof backpack, not to capitalize on chaos, but
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Like, what are your thoughts?
Ahead. No, I mean, you're right. You know, it's a tragedy. You know, our heart, I pray for everybody that's involved. There are a lot of suspicious characters and, the same people with the same blood on their face or at the multiple events. I've just I've not. It's just so coincidence. What are the odds of
Right.
that? But, let's put all that aside. I mean, real people got shot, real people got
Yeah,
killed,
that's right.
and this is not only happening at, events, it's happening, well, not only happening at like, worship events, it's happening at churches, it's happening at colleges, Charlie Kirk, it's happening in schools, all last year. So, look, we have a great partnership with Escape Zone and at Sat News 123. You can go to darkbags.com, or what we're pushing right now is I'm going to give away. This is a bulletproof backpack and it's a
Hmm.
Faraday bag and it'll
Awesome.
stop up to 5.56. So
Wow.
that's an AR-15. Everyone's AR-15. That's a 203 round. It'll stop that. And anything lower than that. And I would even argue that it would stop a 7.62 if you packed it full of books. And then,
Wow.
because it's already bulletproof, but don't hold
That's
me to that.
right.
I'm going to go test that out in my yard and I'll send you the video when I do. But I'm trying to make light of something that's very serious, but I mean, this could save your life.
Right.
You can shelter behind this. You can hide in place, on your back. You can use it as a shield. You can duck behind it. It also stops fragmentations and things like that. And we have a
Right.
lot of different sizes. This is a little bit of smaller one. I'm also giving this away. You go to satnews123.com, you sign up, use your email. We're gonna put you on a list, and then around Christmas time, I'm gonna give away these bags. But this is a smaller one, size of a child's backpack.
Right.
My kiddos and friends of mine, their kiddos, they all carry them to school, and we teach them.
Absolutely.
We teach them
Brett,
like, hey, oh, go ahead.
yeah, let me tell you,
Yeah, please.
this morning, so I'm doing the show prep, I'm getting everything ready. As I mentioned to the audience, I have all of my kids home. My son Jack is home, and there's nothing that makes a mother happier than having every child in her home at the
Yeah,
same time,
that's great.
happy and healthy. And so we had a lovely weekend. Get him for 4 weeks. My daughter, she's amazing. She's a
Mhm.
senior in high school. She's going to be going to college down in Tennessee. She's going to be playing
Cool.
Division I beach volleyball, but
Oh,
she's
nice.
also enrolled in, she's going to have her New York State beauty license. She's enrolled in the vocational
Cool.
education program up here in
Nice,
New
nice.
York. She was there this morning and she's loved it. I mean, she's learning a skill. She's going to have
Yep.
this great license, but she came home today. She had her morning session. She comes home in between completely rattled and terrified. They had like an active shooter situation. They had to shelter
Hmm.
in place. She said, "Mom, this is the first time this has ever happened. We were terrified. We had to, go into lockdown. It was blaring all over the loudspeakers. This
Yep.
is not a drill." And apparently, everything's really murky right now. And I'm not really sure. I called the school to see what was going on. I didn't get any information. But apparently, there was a kid on a bus with a gun, and he was driving towards this location and was going to open up. Um,
Hmm.
and it's like I cover these stories, and believe me, a lot of these stories, there are so many holes in them. There is so much misinformation and disinformation coming from our own government on so many of these stories, right?
Yeah.
They lie to us relentlessly. And so it's
Yeah.
always hard to get an idea, but to your point, like there are human casualties. There are
Yeah.
human, even if it is an operation or a psychological operation or an active type of manipulation, there are still real casualties and real humans involved. And she didn't go to, I mean, she was really cut up about it. I mean, and it's terrifying. And first thing I said to her, I said, do not be afraid. That is not from the Lord. Fear is not from the
Right.
Lord. You're protected. But it's getting a little weird out there. I'll just say it.
It's getting real weird out there. And that guy was military trained. You could tell by the way he was using that bolt action rifle, high speed, accuracy, no flinch. That's high speed training. That guy's fired that weapon before in action. He's been fired upon before. He also knew that there was no one firing back at him, right? Because
Wow.
Australia doesn't have any guns. They had their big mass thing and they all turned their guns in a long time ago and they've just been subjected to, abuse ever since across the board. But to your point, like, whether it's a kid with a gun, whether it's a military with a gun, whether it's, any kind of situation, just having, if you're not carrying a gun on your own to fire back,
Right.
which, that's your personal choice. I think everyone should, especially women nowadays. I strongly support, and we're putting together a self-defense class and some of the easy tools that women can use to protect
Yes.
themselves because there's just not enough men on the streets anymore, and the moral fabric of our society is being torn apart. So
Right.
sadly enough, I feel like the women need to protect themselves and the children as well. And one of the ways we can do that is through something like this, maybe. And if you have another design or another way, by all means. But I mean, carrying around something that you're using every day, but is also, doubles as a bulletproof or self-defense item, whether it's a stab, someone comes at you with a knife, they can't
Right.
stab through this thing. You just hold it up. Or like I like to tell, the kiddos, you get down on your knees, I'm sitting down, but you get down on your knees and you duck down behind this. Two things. One, you're on your knees, you say a prayer, pray to God.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
two, you're completely covered. 10 yards away,
Yeah.
up to about a 12, 13-year-old child can hide completely behind this, down, crouched on their knees, just holding up in front of them. And then, like I said, this here is the one that I carry. This is a little bit bigger version,
Yeah.
so I can not necessarily hide totally behind it, but,
Right.
crouch down in a position, hold this up in front of you and start backing away from whatever the threat is. Or again, knife, anything, and I hate that we have to have these conversations, Shannon. We have
Mhm.
police, we have governments, we're the richest and and coolest nation on the planet, and
Yeah.
yet we can't protect our most valuable resources, which are our children, whether at school or at college or on the street, or our women. I mean, so
Yeah.
sadly we're in that place, and it's gonna be up to you, the individual, you, the leader of the family, or member of the household, that decides, hey guys, okay, group meeting, here we go, this is what we're doing, this is
Right.
our communication plan, this is your self-defense plan, we're all going to take a self-defense class together, let's go to the range, let's all get a bulletproof backpack, hey, now we all have a satellite device. I mean, you have to do these things for yourself, because sadly no one's coming to save you. They'll just show up to draw chalk around you or take some photos. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
It really is. Gosh, it is just such a strange time to be alive in the US. I mean, but there's been violence forever, right? There were assassinations in the 1960s. We had
Sure,
9/11. I mean, there's been a lot of
sure.
violence committed against the American people in our own country by our own people and perhaps even our own military. We saw that with Operation Warp Speed and the rollout of the COVID shots and the bioweapons. I mean, we
I
had
mean,
a
yeah.
mass injection of a government countermeasure, which was the vaccines injected. I mean, it was rolled out by our own government, injected into
Hmm.
millions of Americans with no concern whatsoever to the implications of that and how that could kill and harm people. In fact, Albert Bourla just got a Lifetime Achievement Award. Albert
Yeah.
Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer, now welcomed with open arms into the Oval Office by the President of the United States of America. So this
Well,
situation of a hostile government in some ways is really concerning. And I wouldn't put anything past them in terms of what they would be willing to do to frighten Americans to the extent that we would give up our guns, because they're going to try that. They're going to try some type of gun law, right? But even worse than that, the surveillance state,
yeah.
the digital ID. I mean, they would probably shoot up 100 campuses if they had to in order to get the massive, digital gulag put in place. And so what we need to your point, like we just can't be afraid. And they can't, believe me, they're not, it's the US government, but it's not as easy as people might think for them to really come out and come after us in that way. They're powerful, not that powerful. But
Right.
in some ways, like the play for us has to be no fear. But the way that you get to no fear is through preparation, right? And being prepared for it. And that's kind of what
That's
your
right.
message is.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna put us on a list. They're already doing it. Pam Bondi just came out, sent a memo to the FBI to put everyone who disagrees with the government on a list right now. Well,
Well,
that doesn't sound like a public office to me anymore. That sounds kind of like a Gestapo,
yes, it
and you're trying to put
does.
some brown shirts out, because we don't agree with what you're doing, and what you're doing is covering up a list that pertains people that have been hurting children and have been manipulated. I mean, look, at the end of the day, democide is the number one killer of humans of all time ever in the history of the world, of the
It's
earth
true.
ever. Democide. And democide is when a government kills its own people. Period. So, that's just the facts. Nothing else has killed more people than democide.
That's right.
So, and we have a president who's, yeah, like you just had Albert Bourla to the White House, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, who admitted to, fraudulently messing with his election and then also hiding, the vaccine truths. The real story, the irony is that YouTube CEO, that woman who repressed or suppressed all the information about, ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, and then she got a bunch of shots and like died of like turbo cancer like 6 months later or something like that.
Right.
It was like, so she basically committed information suicide.
It's
She
crazy.
denied so much information to the world that she ended up killing herself over it. And that's the point. If you're working for evil, evil doesn't care about you. It's going to throw you away at the end of the day. God cares about
Hmm.
you. And to be honest, like I was started this off, you want to worry about being on the list. The only list I'm worried about being in and on is the book of life.
That's
I
right.
don't care about any of these humans. Pam Bondi wants to judge me. Kash Patel, Donald Trump wants to judge me. Are you kidding me? Take a hike. You guys are an
Absolutely.
embarrassment to yourself and you're soulless. But at the end of the day, America's not made up of Pam Bondis and Kash Patels and Dan
So
Bonginos
true.
and all these clowns. America's made up of you and
Mm.
your family and your kids and your husband. It's made up of your neighbors. It's made up of me and my family and my neighbors and my community. And that's what it makes America. And that's how we're going to hold this country together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amen to that.
Yeah.
These people are operating in a very high echelon. They are
From
quote unquote
fear.
the elites, right?
From a place of fear, though. Sorry,
Oh,
no,
sure.
continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah.
I agree. And what do they fear? They fear death. So because they don't have God in their life,
They
likely,
fear truth. Yeah.
and they
They
fear
fear the
truth.
truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
And
they
that's
need
why they want
to,
to silence you.
yeah.
They want to take away your ability to defend yourself because they're terrified of you. They're
Hmm.
terrified that you might hear something that they did and then go, hey, you know what? You shouldn't actually be a congressman. You should really be in jail. Like, you're
Absolutely.
guilty of
Well,
crimes. Like,
and and
yeah.
this is what's interesting. This is what's
Yeah.
interesting. The wheels are falling off the jalopy. I think that's why they
Yes.
ramp this up. When you get a predator in a corner, backed into a corner to the extent where they're being exposed, that's when the claws are going
Yeah.
to come out. That's where they're going to be the most vicious. And you're going to see, I think, the acceleration of this attempt to kind of cover up what is going on. We had a lot
That's right.
happening over the weekend, the past week. I mean, um, everyone knows about the AI bubble. The AI bubble cannot be sugarcoated any longer. It's not real, okay?
Like, yeah.
It's exactly the
It's an
round
AI human
tripping.
caterpillar. It's
That's
just like
right.
feeding itself and feeding itself. Yeah,
Exactly,
gross.
exactly, with
Yeah,
printed money. Okay.
exactly.
So that is what Jack Gamble has. It's not even his term, but it's called round tripping. It means that they're just stuffing money in each other's pockets and calling
Mhm.
it profit. And oh, by the way, that money was printed by the federal government. So
Yeah, and
that's
every
the
once in a while
AI.
they
But
just throw a little injection of our cash in there, so it looks
right.
like the balance sheet
It,
raises as they siphon it out. It's all just a clown show. We can see it now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. One of the top diplomats from Russia over the weekend, we're on to you. We
yeah,
know that the US is debasing your own dollar. We
yeah.
know about your little scheme with the stable coins and the bitcoins and the crypto. Like, we know what you're trying to do. You're going
Yeah.
to erase $35 trillion of your own debt with your devalued dollars and try to dump that on us and try to be the leader of the new AI digital monetary revolution.
Oh, the
And
Fed's
so,
gonna buy back their bonds now too. So the Fed's gonna buy them back. The last time that happened was
right.
like the 40s, and we ended up in a huge depression. I mean, it's like
Right?
this is disaster.
It's a,
Yeah.
it's a
This is
disaster.
disaster. Yeah.
So everyone knows this.
Yeah.
No one believes the show anymore. Like this whole
No.
Erica Kirk,
Ugh,
Candace Owens soap opera where they're gonna have their own private meeting now. Like it's just been
wish I had
outrageous.
money.
I mean, no one believes it though anymore. Like they put
No.
out, so Barry Weiss interviews Erica Kirk on CBS over the weekend. And they put out these clips and people are like, this is so fake. Like this
Dude,
woman is it like there's
the memes. The girls with the cash, and then she's like dabbing her eyes with the wad of money. And they're
no
like,
one buys it.
well, and then at the
No
end of the
one
interview,
buys it.
but what was the through line of the whole interview? At the end, Barry Weiss, she said it. The through line of that entire interview was, "We need to shut down speech."
That's right.
And what
That's
did
right.
Erica say? She's like, "What do you say to people that are talking about it? Stop. Like, stop.
Hmm.
Like, stop talking. Stop
Right.
discussing the truth. Stop like talking about how like you're the worst actress ever in the history of actresses. And even if your husband did really die, which I'm really starting to doubt, uh, please just stop embarrassing yourself in front of all of us for the love of your kids, if they're even real at this point. I mean, it's all just like one big facade, facade,
They,
whatever facade. But it's like it's crazy, Sod. We're like living in some reality, and everyone can see it. George Orwell was right. You will not trust your own eyes. I mean, it's crazy.
and
I'm
those are
with
the
you.
comments. I mean, each one, the ratios were unbelievable. Like
Unbelievable.
someone,
Mm.
is there anyone that loves this woman enough to tell her that she just needs to stop? Like no one is buying this anymore. I'm just reporting. I'm not purporting to know what is going
I have
on.
no idea,
I am
but
reporting to you what I'm seeing on the twit
yeah.
every day. And people are like, this is B everyone.
If I was doing
Left,
that,
right.
Shannon, I would hope that you would stop me. If I like someone significant died and then I was out just like selling t-shirts with their clothing on it, like, oh, this is what they died in. You want to buy the t-shirt? Oh, here's the mug. You want to get the mug? Oh, here. I mean, I'm surprised they're
It's
not selling
crazy.
like the video clips or the ringtone of the shot or something like that. I mean, they've just exploited it so gross. It's
Yeah.
so gross how they're
Yeah.
doing it, and it's so obvious. And again, at the end of the day, people need to, can I just say this? I'm so proud of the strong women in our country, like you and like Maria Z's and the
Mm.
Mel K's and these women. You have taken the place of all these weak male podcasters who are out there like just towing the line, lying to your face, not telling the truth. And I'm so proud to like know you
Aw.
and calling the truth,
Right.
being a woman strong enough to say, hey, that's another woman, a grieving mother. I'm a mother. I can
Right.
feel that. However, this is starting to look really ridiculous. Like you just
Something
tell
is
the
wrong
truth, and
here.
I'm just really proud of you and honored to know you.
Oh,
And
thanks.
congratulations for being brave enough to call BS when you see it, because that's
Yeah.
all we really need.
I mean, and that doesn't even mean that I necessarily come here on a daily basis and say that I know what is going on. I mean, I can come into this studio and say to my
Right.
audience, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to
It's
make of this.
honest though. It's just honest at least.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it was my husband. By the way, I don't know if you know, it's our anniversary yesterday,
Oh,
23 years. Okay.
wow. That's awesome. Congrats.
And devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy from time to time will sell because I'll get really turned around inside, like it all in knots. And I really want to bring like good information to the audience. I want to
Yeah.
figure things out and try to convey that. And there are just times when I can't, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's told me time and time again, he says, Shannon, you don't have to save the world. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to know everything all the time. Like it's not my
Yeah.
fault or
Wise
your
man.
fault, by the way,
Yeah.
that this government lies to you in breathtaking ways. That's not our fault as American citizens, right?
No.
Like it's not people are like, "Oh, well, I'm just too stupid to understand what's going on." Like no, they're lying to us. And so I think in some ways you're right. Like really the only play is to say, "I don't know exactly what happened, but I know enough to know when something is fake." Right?
Yeah.
Like I know and everything's fake these days. The deep fakes, the deep fakes, the AI, like all of this stuff. I mean, this is why I think localism is so important. Like what
It is.
you can see and touch and feel and what's happening in your own community. I'm like,
You know,
okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're spot on, and I just want to jump on that while you're talking about it because that's what we're doing at Galileo. Like, we have an app, we have a social media platform, we have an emergency app though, and we're sending alerts from our in sources. I don't like the term influencers, so you're all your in sources, your influential news sources, and that's
Yeah,
what we're
okay, I
doing. We're
like that.
bringing news to you. We're not jamming you with algorithms. I'm not tracking what you're doing. I'm not some tech billionaire. I don't have a suit of Baphomet, right? I'm not doing any of these things. I'm not building data centers. But what I am doing
Not
is we're
weird.
delivering the truth to you
Yeah.
and without any of the BS around it. And we're using people like yourself, or working with people like yourself to do so. Because you tell the truth, because you call it. And the word that people need to search if they can't see the BS is discernment. You
Mm,
need to have the discernment. And that's really, you get that from God, you get that from the Bible. That's the only place that you'll find the true discernment. But once the scales are lifted, you can never go back. And you realize, yeah, they're not coming to save me. In fact, they're not really even our friends. They don't like us. They're
Right.
embarrassed by their actions. They're disgusted by who they are on the inside. And the only way for them not to go to prison or worse is for them to make us the bad guys for just trying to live our life and point it out. But
Yeah.
when your heart is filled with God and you have discernment and you have your family and your neighbors, and yeah, you turn off the screen and turn off the people yelling at you, I got the secrets, you don't know what you're talking about, like
I
all that
know.
nonsense. You just turn all that nonsense off. You seek the truth, and then you find peace in your life, and that's true discernment. And you said it earlier, and I wanted to just touch on that. You do that through knowing that you are prepared, whether it's your
Mhm.
soul, whether it's your household, whether your children are prepared, whether you've taught them well, right? Whether you have a backup for whatever it is you need, but you're prepared. You feel that preparedness, and it gives you a completion because you know that you're ready. You have God, you got backups, you got your
Yeah.
family. Bring it. Let's do this,
You,
like whatever.
you are so right, though, about the decrepit and ugly nature of the
Yeah.
people who run things in our
Yeah.
country today, and also in most Western democracies. I do
Mhm.
love what I saw. The amazing people of Bulgaria threw out another round of government officials.
Yeah.
Protested, 7 million of them
Yep.
for 5 full weeks. They went back over and over and over and just overwhelmed the government.
Yep.
They all resigned last week on December 11th. Keep doing that, Bulgaria, and we need to do that here in
Hmm.
the US. But even with, I was thinking about the Rob Reiner situation today. Rob Reiner and his wife, his second wife, were
Yeah.
murdered in their homes by his own son, who has suffered with mental health issues, homelessness, substance abuse, the whole lot of it. I mean, these Rob Reiner was, I believe, in his 80s, 70s or 80s, an old man in the end stages of life where things should be peaceful and things should be,
Yep.
you're kind of moving in. And what a horribly tragic and violent and horrifying thing to happen. He slit their throats, the reports are saying. And I was thinking this morning, so often I hear from people, they always win. The bad guys always win, right? There's never justice. They never, they're always aligning together, big government, big Hollywood, big corporate, you name it. And in this, like, just sad and tragic event, you begin to realize that, and I don't know what the nature of everything that happened, but like, sometimes these people in power, we think that they're winning and that they're happy, but there are so many things in their lives that are not happy. And I think
No.
in some ways it's because you have to give up some things in order to go and grab that brass ring and get the power and the money. I think you have to make allowances. You have to give
To
up
deal with the
parts of your
devil.
soul. Yeah, in some ways it does seem like,
It's the only
and
way. That's the way.
yeah,
They
I
they
mean,
sign
and
themselves. Yeah.
yeah, but I just think that I get the sense a lot of them are tormented. Presidents, heads of states, diplomats, politicians, military leaders, corporate leaders, people in positions of great power. And I just think, I'm so glad I don't have to do that. I'm
Yeah.
so glad I'm small and little and I don't have a lot of money and I don't have a lot of power
Yeah.
because,
Well, you never sold your soul. I had a chance
well,
to sell my soul in Hollywood. I was an actor for
really?
many years. Yeah, yeah, in Disney actually, and I filed a whole report on it. But I was called into an office, approached at the Writers Guild by I won't say his name right now, but I will say his name one day. And
Yeah.
as he was talking to me, I go to Disney. I'm under the mouse ears. I got a mouse badge on with my name on it.
Yeah.
And this guy starts undoing his pants in his office and is basically like telling me like, you'll get a job on ABC, you get a job in Disney movies, or you can start your career. This is how it's done. As he's like unbuttoning his pants right in front of me. And I'm like, I'm fresh out of the Marine Corps. So I was like, this guy's about to lose his life. But
Yeah.
instead, I just was like, F you,
This is not
man.
for
I
me.
pushed him. I walked out. And I thought I would like, could move on. But yet I found out, and then I went to human resources and and the lady laughed in my face and was basically like, what do you want me to do about it? I was like, I don't know. Maybe fire him.
Wow.
But yeah, you
Wow.
look, and here's the thing. I had that chance, you know, and I didn't take it. So I didn't get up. You can't see me on ABC. I've never been on
Yeah.
an ABC show. In fact, that was like in the very beginning of my career. And for some reason, every ABC show I auditioned for just never worked out. So, you
Right.
know, that whole like
Yeah.
blackballed thing, that's
Yeah.
a real thing. But honestly, I don't care because I always say this, I never sold my soul or my whole for a role. And I'm
Yeah.
proud of that. And a lot of people have. And to your point, and I just tell you that story because I want you to like understand that it is a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Everybody signs it. And I'm starting to think that the one hit wonders back in the day were probably just bands that didn't want to like sign their soul to Moloch or something. So then
Yeah.
they got fired or whatever. But look at the disgrace that comes. Bill
Mhm.
Cosby, Weinstein, Kavanaugh, Kevin Spacey's like a disgraced guy on the run. Tom Hanks is hated globally. Even Oprah gets booed where she goes. Bill Gates can't show up anywhere without people throwing stuff at his car now. I
Yeah.
mean, and even Elon Musk, you know, I thought he was like a super cool guy. I got a lot of mixed feelings about him right now, but he's even getting a lot of hate. People are just kind of tired of like, hey man, you say one thing, but you do the other. All the
Yeah.
presidents are disgraced, and then look at our congressmen and our politicians. What do you have to be 90 years old? It's almost like Satan's like, you will go back to work. You will keep
Mm.
going for me. I mean, even Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy's like 80 years old. He can barely talk. He can't think. He has no idea who he is. And he has to go do some last satanic concert where it's like demons and upside down crosses a week before he
Weird.
dies. You
Oh,
sign your soul to the devil, you work till you die. And then
oh,
you go
yeah.
spend your life in eternity, right? That's the deal. So,
Mm.
you know, don't
It
do it. That's my advice. Don't sign your soul.
Oh, no, listen, throughout my career, I've been in media and advertising for like 23 years,
Yeah,
more, 25 years, in front of the mic for 12. And
nice.
I've seen some horrifying things. And
Sure.
to your point, one day I will write, and I've told the audience some of my stories, usually behind the paywall because I don't need everyone to know. But like I've seen I've seen my share of,
Yeah.
with my own eyes, my own witness, and tragically, a lot of it comes from some in the so-called Christian right, which is that's been really distressing for me, especially over the past couple years,
Yeah.
watching the emergence of the Christ is King, these new kind of poster children for the Bible and Jesus and Christianity when they're not, I'm not going to, go into that, but it's, I mean, and this is how
Well,
like,
the
go
Bible
ahead.
tells you at the end of the day is that you'll have to flee some of the churches, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's because again, like we're here as a test. This is all a test, right? And the test is not how good of a person you can be. It's if you have God, have Jesus, or you don't. That seems to be like the lesson from the oldest book that we know on earth, right? The Dead Sea Scrolls, right? From the oldest lessons we find from the every scientific dig uncovers more of a historical biblical truth, right?
Yeah.
It's like right in front of our eyes. You can't deny it. And then, you know, when you get down on your knees and you really turn yourself over, you will be shown. I was shown. Like it's no, that's not even, I
Yeah.
almost feel like I'm cheating now. It's like I'm not, I don't have faith. Like I know something came in and did something to
Yeah.
me and like changed my life. So like this
Yeah.
happens and you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
there's a adverse to that. And the adverse is the devil will give you money right up front, right away, and then you work for him, right? God will make you work for him and then reward you, and not through money, because you can't serve two masters, God and Mana.
True.
Mana's money. You can only serve one master, and that's God. So God will reward you when you worship for him. But you know, the devil will just give you a whole bunch of cash. But you know,
Yeah.
that's a sham deal. Don't take that deal.
Yeah.
You
And it's
know.
really tragic. It's just really tragic. You can even see with the Reiner situation. I mean, Donald Trump, cynically, this is crazy. This is how I know these people are
Yeah.
crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, this poor man and his wife have their throats slit by his own son.
Yeah.
Okay. Horrifying situation. Trauma in that family. There must have been just an enormous amount of trauma in that family for this to happen.
He was accused
Um,
of a lot of
he
things.
was
Rob
accused of,
Reiner was accused of a lot of really heinous
yeah,
things that most people don't necessarily get accused of. And I
I didn't
do think
know.
it's, yeah, he was accused along the way of being on the list
Okay.
and, certain things around town, what have you.
Yeah.
But, I can't substantiate any of that. But
Right.
it is odd that, like you brought up, like Gene Hackman just and his wife just had a weird, we're gonna be die or be killed or something weird in our house and in our 80s that's just unnatural. And there was a lot of suspicion around that one. And
Yeah.
just it's a lot, just very odd timing. But anyway, yeah, continue what you're saying. I don't
Well,
know
so then
about
Donald
Trump.
Trump, the president of the United States of America, comes out with his own issues, by the way, uh, with Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files and his long, long, long
I have
relationship.
more pictures of that guy together than there is of me and my mom. It's
That's right.
crazy.
That's
Like this
right.
dude's, that's
So,
crazy.
but he comes out and says this, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome.
I
Sometimes
got
it's
Trump
referred to as
disappointment syndrome. Like I'm so disappointed by him. I don't know about deranged, but oh,
he
sorry, continue.
He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump. Okay, talking about himself in the first person, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all the goals and expectations of greatness, along with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace! Exclamation point. Like,
I feel like Don Jr. wrote that after snorting a huge line of blow or something like that. Like I feel like there's
what
just some
is
like
this?
crankhead in the corner that's like making stuff up.
Who are these
It's so
people?
it's
These
insane.
are decrepit people.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I voted for Donald Trump. I'm disappointed beyond belief in Trump and everyone who told me he was going to do the right thing and everyone that lied right to my face. And now anyone who's towing the line for this obscene, just vile human. This guy's pocketed billions of dollars in the
Yes.
first year
Yes,
while
he has.
bankrupting the country. He's added trillions to the national debt. He's done nothing for you. And then he wants to like claim some golden age or something while your prices are still going up and it's
Oh
more like
yeah.
a golden shower. It's just the most embarrassing thing that like we have an embarrassment. He's not even a leader. It's
Yeah.
just serving some satanic cult or something and given first day in office he gives hundreds of millions of dollars to Oracle, hundreds of millions of dollars and then like we just went down the list. Bill Gates, Albert Bourla, Zuckerberg, these are your guests.
Yeah.
This is who, and then you go to London and you have the super fancy dinner of the year in all gold with the king and queen who are like destroying their country. I mean, I'm starting to see a pattern
Mm,
here, guys, and the pattern is that no one in DC is American, and that
yeah.
Americans just need to start being American and start taking care of America because
Bottom
there's
up,
no
baby.
leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom
Who's
up,
running it?
baby. Well, and
Yeah.
now he's essentially granted supremacy to the tech companies. This latest
Yeah.
executive order, and I have it here, and it's linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. There's a really good piece in Technocracy. That's Patrick Wood's operation. Trump's EO strips states' rights to regulate AI.
Yep.
And this is a million times worse than Obama ruling with a pen and a phone. It is essentially handing supremacy.
Hmm.
It supersedes the courts, state governments,
Yeah.
local governments, the Constitution of the United States of America, full amnesty and immunity for AI development granted to these companies, these oligarchs, techno-fascists. They no boundaries. Now, this is an executive order. I think this is going to be challenged. Okay, but Elon Musk is out there saying that we don't need judges anymore or lawyers anymore. Like AI will determine
Right.
what the decision making, how the decision making goes, and who is guilty or innocent. So, I mean, we need to get human very fast, people. We need
Yeah, the
human.
data centers are destroying towns too. You can see
Yep.
that. There are reports
Yep.
all over, even across X. You don't even have
Yep.
to search far to see like the next town, the next news report of a data center that is
Yeah.
being built and has usurped all the power and is now polluting the skies. And there's a
Right.
sulfur smell and there's noxious gases emitting. I mean, it's like, what is happening right now? I mean, clearly Donald Trump is a captured person if he's
Yeah.
even alive anymore. I mean, he seems half brain dead. There's a million pictures of him falling asleep. I mean, we just need to stop putting 80-year-olds in charge of, 30 and 20-year-olds. It's just crazy. Like these
Yeah,
people
it's
are
a little
old,
much.
they're
Yeah,
nuts, and they're all captured. All these people are disgusting. And Trump is clearly one of them. He's not doing anything for America. He's done
yeah,
absolutely zero that he said he was going to do. Nothing. And, I want to say, oh, people are like, oh, the border's shut down. Well, no, it's
yeah,
not. You're looking at one area that the news showed you. You're missing the entire Canadian border, which is still wide open, FYI, and no one goes to talk about that.
right.
But we are being flooded from the north when they take pictures of the south. So, nothing has really happened, and I just think Americans, yeah, we need to realize that America is run by Americans because you're the one that gets up every day. You're the one that goes to work. You turn on the power. You collect the trash. You teach the kids. You serve the food. You pump the gas, whatever it is you do, you are that contributing factor in the American. The
Yeah,
whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's, we think that these little individuals, just because they claim to be leadership or have some nameplate, on their desk that justifies their ability to ruin your life and ruin
yeah.
our country and ruin the future. And that's just not okay. So, enough
It
is enough.
It's not okay. Enough is enough. We got Brett
Yeah.
Miller, satnews123.com. That's satnews123.com. Okay, so we are giving away ballistic bulletproof backpacks for free, tons of gear, the big ones, the little ones, and then you have some other goodies as well
I
that,
do. Let me duck off screen here. There's the
yep,
little one. And then I'm giving away these waterproof, windproof lighters too. Frog lighter. These are about 30 bucks.
that's
You can go
awesome.
online anywhere between 30 and 40 bucks. But he got these little
Amazing.
guy here.
So
Yeah,
the
just kind of fire that guy up. So I'm giving these away. I got about I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 of these. I think I'm gonna scrounge together. And
awesome.
yeah, just come to Sat News 123 and sign up and we'll put you on a list, a good list.
Yeah.
And we'll pick a winner around Christmas time and we'll do it
Yeah.
with you.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's super easy, and I'm going to be telling you guys about all the different things that we're giving away. I have a bunch of stuff here too that we're going to give away.
cool.
Faraday bags, Faraday backpacks, you name it, we got it.
Yes.
So satnews123.com. Go there right now. It's easy, quick page. It takes you to Galileo. You just pop in your email address. That's going to get you signed up and in the running for these giveaways. And we're going to start giving these away, over the next week or so. So that's super generous. We really appreciate you, Brett Miller. Thank you for being with us today on the show.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to get off your chest before I let you go?
Oh, just look, it's about your relationship with God. Support the people that tell you the truth and get your family right, get your neighborhood right, get your city right, get your
That's
school
right.
right, and good luck to you. Here we go.
That's
Let's
right.
do it.
No fear.
2026.
No
No
fear.
fear.
Listen, 26 is going to be crazy.
Awesome. A little
Crazy.
crazy. It's gonna be a little
Cra-
crazy out here.
Crazy Town USA, but
A
it
little
is going to be
crazy.
awesome because we are
Yeah.
moving towards truth. But a lot is going to go on. The best thing that you can do is prepare. And I'm so thankful for the Satellite Phone Store and Brett Miller,
Yes.
sat123.com/joy. If you want to do some holiday gift giving, give the gift of preparation. Those bulletproof backpacks for the kiddos would be a great addition under the tree. Always use the JOY promo code so that they know that I sent you. That's JOY, all caps, at sat123.com/joy. All right, Brett, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next
Okay.
time. God bless.
And thank you guys for being with us today here on the Shannon Joy Show. As we launch the week, we have big interviews coming up this week. Peter Schiff, Jack Gamble, and other new guests. So we have a big lineup of shows and a lot of news to get to. We get to the best as best we can here on the Shannon Joy Show. Not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser, every single day. Thank you to Annie for producing the show today. You are a genius, and I'm so thankful for you. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.